Welcome to the fall of 2021. This is ISOL 531 Access Control. Super excited to be getting started in the fall with this. So this is a great course. It provides us a great overview of all the different things that are going to be required for access control. We're going to cover some great topics. Cryptology we're going to look at. How do we control it? Some of the laws that go with it, the laws that are involved. We have all, in the IT department, obviously we have to be concerned with all the laws. Well, if you think of what HIPAA is, HIPAA is the medical law. Well, we have to make sure we comply with that. Even if we don't comply, not knowing, we can be fined. So we're going to cover all the different laws that we need to look at. What is access control? How do we know who gets in? During this pandemic last year, almost everyone worked from home. Well, how do we know that they were who they said they are? A lot of companies went to multi-factor authentication, so we're going to spend some time on that. What's the importance of it? We're going to look at the cloud. Everyone says, oh, put it on the cloud, it's safe. Is the cloud safe? Yes, we can get to it anywhere. There's a lot of benefits, but how safe is the cloud? We're also going to examine the human factor. We can build the best system in the world, spend millions of dollars, and yet someone can make a phone call, send a spam email, and all that money is wasted because they're going to get in through a human being, a secretary, who clicks on an email that's wrong. And so these are some of the things we want to definitely look at. What's the risk involved with not having all of our access and control in place? How about from an enterprise point of view? Yes, it's easy to control one department, but when we're looking at across the country and across the world, each area might have different requirements, so we need to look at that. So we're going to look at it from the enterprise cost also. And what about the implementation? How do we go about implementing new processes or making sure that they're being followed? So we're going to want to examine that. We're going to look at the information systems. Like I said, we can spend tons of money, but is it really worth it? Is our data, we don't want to spend more than our data is worth. And what about just the physical security? Do we have, I know where I used to work, we had our NOC building, our network office, in a separate building down the block from our main office where all the employees went in and out, and we had our computer systems in a couple of buildings down the road. There was no markings on it, there was a fence, cameras. If you didn't even know that it was our building, you would never even go there. And if you drive through any industrial park, there's all these buildings that are unnamed. Guaranteed that almost all those have some type of computer systems in them. That could be where a lot of our cloud supporting data is coming from. So what do we have there? How are we physically making sure? Does a server room have a key code? Or even your office. One office I worked at, every room, every office, every area had their own department. And you had to log in. If you didn't have access to it, you couldn't get into that department to see anyone. If you wanted to go to accounting, if you didn't have access to accounting, you couldn't go there. So these are some of the things we want to look at. How do we prevent all this from happening? I already spoke about remote workers, right? COVID, everyone worked remote. Well, how do we know who they are? What systems do we have in place? How can I, as a company, have all that I need there? Or are we going to be on a cloud? We're going to look at the cloud thing, the cloud access. Is that really worth it? We're going to look at cryptology, as I mentioned before. We're going to spend a chapter on that. Cryptology is so important, and it's so easy to do. Yes, we run some algorithms. We're going to learn the basics of it with the access keys, public key, private keys. How do we work these? So we're going to look at some of the importance of cryptology to help prevent it. So if I'm just transferring a file from my desk to the cloud, well, it should be encrypted because we're going to look at data in motion, data at rest, and these are some of the things that we want to examine because it's more than just putting something out there. Policies and procedures and standards. We're going to look at all these different things on what policy should we have. Different industries have different set of procedures that are recommended to follow, so we want to make sure we're doing that. As I mentioned, we're going to look at the different laws. There are all kinds of laws, from the healthcare, the financial. So how does all this come together? This class is going to give you an overview of all these. We're not going to get into depth on cryptology. There's a whole nother class on that. We're not going to get in depth on the laws. We're going to get into that. But this class provides a great overview of everything that we're going to be doing, that you're going to be doing in your different classes as we get going. Looking forward to working with you. Don't forget, just some basic housekeeping, your discussion question, your initial responses due Thursday night. This gives your classmates time to respond. So make sure you post by Thursday night. We are going to be, you definitely have to buy the book. Here's a copy of the book. This is what we're looking at, access control identity. It comes with a lab. You have to get that key code when you buy it. You can't buy a used book. You have to have that lab. So make sure when you purchase it, you get that also. All right, I'm looking forward to working with you over the next few weeks. Thank you.